hung up. I was like, bitch!
There you go, man. Anybody out there, man? Fucking Saturday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon-ish.
Prime time.
And I got 2 guys from 4 Mothers sitting in my apartment. So, started off with an introduction.
Come on.
Okay, yeah, I got it. I'm the vocalist and bassist of 4 Mother. This is Tyler. He's the guitarist of 4 Mother. We're just hanging with ASTRORABBIT, kind of chilling, just talking new stuff we got working on, album release, and all the fun things going on in life, you know. Yeah.
So there you go, like as you can see, it's the usual live feed style, not too much planned and stuff like that, but if you got a chance, you can pop into the comments. If we don't catch it live, I'm sure the boys will get back to you, so hope everybody's having a good Saturday. First of all, I just want to tell you, get your ass to ASTRORABBIT.ca, and if you, here, oops, I'm still getting used to this, bear with me.
Surprise.
Here, I'm going to use this for my ag picture because this is where you can find more information. If you're looking for the Master Rabbit style, go to music from the pick, hammer 4 Mother into that search bar, and it'll take you on your way. So, the boys got a new album coming out, but we'll get to that after. But first of all, quick question here, just to get things rolling then, and I'm going to put a comment there so you links for their featured artist page. Fucking mumbling everything right now. Anyways, so tell me a bit about what's going on, boys.
Just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Alright, I got it. Yeah, we've been recording the album over the past, like, I don't know, year, 2 years. I don't know how long it's been. We've been in a basement for way too long.
Like forever. Just right.
And we're gonna release it February 30th. For I think it's 9 songs or something like that. I don't really know. I lost track. But other than that, I mean, we had merch on the way, but we're broke, so we're not gonna do that.
Soon enough.
February 30th. Don't forget merch out there on your calendars.
If you can find it.
February 30th. It's a good day to release, I would say. It's almost discreet.
It's very discreet. It's almost like it doesn't exist. We're gonna confuse songs.
Okay, so I do get with the album coming along. So is it complete? Is it, or is there still stages of it that? Is there still working going on, or is it complete? I think that's the main thing that people are looking at. Like, I know we're joking around about dates and stuff like that, but if I was to say, like, what stage is it at? Because the one cool thing, well, I'm not even going to say it's cool about the pandemic, but people are becoming a lot more tolerant of delays and everything because there has been so many delays with everything lately. So it's sort of, a lot of things can just blame, hey man, pandemic, it's late. But with you guys though, like, what stage would you say it's at right now?
Well, we've just kind of like, we've noticed like, now that with all this time, it's like, it's okay, like we could release it, and then we like, okay, we want to fiddle around with it, and then we start changing things and adding new songs, getting rid of songs and everything like that. So it's like, it's done. We just got like a couple touches to put on there, and it's we're gonna kind of just make sure it's as tight as it can be, and then it's good. So it's like, it's done. It's just needs a little bit of finesse, you know.
Yeah, everything's recorded, it's edited, everything's done. I mean, it's just us dicking around now.
Well, I think you guys were hinting at something when we were talking earlier. About the whole shows and everything else, slowing everything else down right now. How important do you guys think it is to be able to link up live shows with an album release kind of thing? Like, doing an album release without that live show kind of thing there, is that one of the challenges and stuff you're facing?
Yeah, I mean, every time we released an album, we used to write songs just to play the show that night because, well, degenerates. It's the first time where we're not going out. We don't have any tours planned.
No
and
rush. Yeah.
We're just promoting the album, which is nice for the album, but I would like to be out there. And it kind of drove us insane for a little bit, and it took a little while for us to get everything done because we got tired of playing for ourselves.
Sick of hearing our own music. Wow.
Well, that's another thing that when I was doing one of the other interviews, I was talking to the artist about the importance of, like, when you're doing a live show, there's that fan feedback and everything else, right? That you can judge a lot by the audience and stuff. So I've even seen bands that, like, before they record a song, it's almost like, hey, let's play this thing live and see how it turns out, kind of see how the crowd takes it. So, in your opinion, how does the lack of live shows change around the whole writing process?
Oh man, yeah, it's a lot on the feedback. It's like we got a lot of good friends that have steadily come out to our shows. A lot of fans. I know it's the feedback, right? It's like we could tell ourselves, oh, like, I don't compliment him much. You know, he is doing a good job. Usually I just say he's shit, and he's probably just sick of hearing that. You know, he wants somebody to tell him he's doing a good job. No, it's like, yeah, no, it's just the crowd feedback, man. And then it's like just linking up with other bands too. Like we played with bands from around the world all in this one venue, right? And it's like just hearing different stories. It's like, okay, if we want to like tour one day, it's like hearing how other people did it. You know, it's like just getting the feedback, getting everything, you know. Yeah, and playing's fun too. Miss that.
So, one thing I've noticed with you guys, there was the first album that you guys showed me, and that was chaos kind of thing. I get that the chaos was the attempt and stuff. Then as I started seeing more things, coming up, I've noticed the album kind of pushing, like, the music kept moving forward. From these songs, what can people expect? Is that leap? Is it the same thing that you guys were doing? Like, how have things changed along the way?
I mean, I would like to think that it's a lot better than the first album. But yeah, since COVID, another thing too, and not playing shows, we found a way to get a lot more structured, a lot more complicated with our writing. Mm-hmm. So basically it's a very depressing, very sad, and there's a couple actually slow songs even on the album, which we've never done before.
Yeah.
It's a very sad and depressing album that
it's still heavy too, though. You know, it's like it's good.
It definitely has the like the self-titled album where there's a lot of heavy bits, there's a lot of fast bits, there's a lot of crazy chaos going on, but it's definitely way more structured than
controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much of your music do you find is a reflection of what, like, there's I know I've talked to you guys about this before, but just in this interview, like, there's times that you see things in the metal genre that are more thematic kind of thing, where it's more playing a role and stuff like that. Do you guys find Four Mother falls into that element, or, like, what do you find is, like, I've always said that a lot of times music is reflecting back what they're seeing. So sometimes the people are just seeing images and ideas in their head that are totally made up, and other times people are bouncing back reality. So where do you find you guys fit in that mix?
Yeah, there's this kind of album. We started writing it. The reason it's taken so long too is because we kind of had like a whole album in the works at the start of COVID, and then we took one little walk through the graveyard or whatever, and it just kind of like sparked a bunch of ideas. So like the album's based a lot around death and loss and stuff like that, and it's, you know, like a lot of this stuff is very personal too. It's like I don't like to write lyrically unless it feels kind of right, or it feels like there's some sort of connection to it, because it's like when you get up on that stage and it's like, if you're really feeling it because it's really real, it's just like hits different, in my opinion, you know what I mean? And it's like yeah, a lot of death and loss and stuff like that. Like, we went through a graveyard and my grandpa's buried there or whatever, and it kind of just sparked an idea like there. It's like, okay, how could I represent a story from this? I get a story going, and then I get the story, get a poem, and then create a song. it's a whole thing, and a lot of good stuff came from just walking to the graveyard at night, having some beers, and just getting inspired by loss, death, love, you know.
Okay, so I get how things like that can inspire lyrics.
Yeah.
How does something like that inspire guitar playing?
That was a pretty interesting thing that we did too, because we were pretty much going to the graveyard every day for a little while. So it started to, we were going in the winter, so we were slowly just embracing this kind of cold chaos and death. So what I had done was we had a very repetitive format for the guitar. It's the only thing that's really repetitive on the album. It's repetitive, but with slight variations throughout the entire album. So each song is either played on the same chords, or with slight variations to the chords, or slight variations to the notes to simulate the insanity of mourning somebody, and to simulate the craziness of the experience of death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said.
Okay, so there's a lot of things like, okay, this, I'm just trying to find the right way to word this so much, right? But, even me personally, there's times when I've looked up at the stage, seen a black metal band, heard with my ears what's going on, and the first question out of my mouth was why?
Sure.
Why? Why black metal?
I don't know. It's I don't know. It just hits right for me. Anyway, like I remember when I like started the band, we kind of weren't doing the black metal thing, and it's like Tyler would talk about it all the time, and I couldn't really get into it. And then I kind of found myself like when I just forced myself to listen to it a bit more, and then when I fell into it, I like really fell into it. It just felt like really raw, like raw emotion. You know what I mean? I liked the rawness and like the darkness, and you know, I just I feel like there's a lot that we can say in this genre that just it feels like we're doing it justice when we put it out and in this platform, you know.
So before I get into Tyler's response for that one, so how much would you say the appeal comes to freedom? Like, it seems like a lot of the appeal of black metal is just that freedom that nobody's going to tell you no.
It's kind of like that punk mentality too, like, you know, like just saying what I got to say, and you know it fits for the genre. You know what I mean? Like your fans will kind of understand, or people will kind of get it. I don't know how to say it exactly, but it's like if I was doing like rock and roll or something like that. You know, I say something somebody doesn't like, and then it's a whole big deal, right? But you know, a platform to be raw and real, you know.
Okay, so just to fire it back to Tyler then with that same thing then, buddy, why black metal?
It's pretty much just the raw emotion, the ability to do something that is unstructured, and the freedom of it. Yeah, like you said, there's pretty much nothing that you have to follow. There's no guidelines. There's no restrictions. You don't have to make a song ready for the radio, because we know for a fact that's not going to happen. You get to do what you want to do because it sounds good to you, and most genres will not allow that. You either have to have a heavy breakdown, or you have to, I don't know, have a 4-chord progression for a pop song.
Get weird with it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess while we're talking about black metal and stuff like that, other than checking out your website and checking out your music, if somebody was interested, some parents are going to be pissed at me right now, where does somebody start? If somebody said, dude, I want to learn more about black metal, find some music and find some bands and stuff like that,
That's what
where are you sending them, Tyler?
I guess if they're listening to metal already, I'm going to say Behemoth. Because they're probably the easiest to be accessible for it. They play stadiums, they play to thousands of people. Like, they're the easiest one to get through. Other than that, I mean, there is Mayhem and Dark Throne, but they're very primitive, very harsh, and very, very hard to listen to. If you don't listen to metal, though...
Maybe just don't.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Maybe just don't. It's,
You're not ready.
Okay, so we talked about that freedom and stuff like that, right? I don't want to use the word like I don't want to go down the hipster route and stuff, but does that exclusive to like the fact that it is yours and other people look at it and go, ah, yuck, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something I enjoy about doing something where people are just like, why? You know, it's like it fuels me, man. It's like I've been a goth kid for like, you know, and it's like just I don't know. I like dark shit, and it's like if people don't like it, I'm like I kind of like it more. It's like when I tell people I'm going for a walk through a graveyard, and I find it really, really relaxing, like a very calming place for me to just go for a walk. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go right now. Go chat with my peeps, you know.
Okay, so you guys keep mentioning the whole graveyard thing. Why? Like, what is it? Why there? Why not the park? Why not the bush? Why not?
I don't know, man. For years, for me, like just to walk through a graveyard, it's always just felt like the most calm place I could possibly be. And it's like it's really a happy place for me to go and just get my head straight. And you know when we were writing music, and that's like so much inspiration came from just the idea of everything that embodies that sort of thing. It's just like I don't know. It just feels right for me. It's calm, you know, calm, peace kind of thing.
I like to have sex with dead bodies, but sure.
Okay, so as soon as we're going along with things, just to continue with the graveyard thing and stuff like that, right? One of the first things that comes to people's minds when they hear walking through graveyard is the destruction that people see around a graveyard
Right.
and stuff like that. What kind of response do you have to that?
Well, I mean, there's a matter of respect too, right? It's like you want to respect the dead. You know, you can have your own opinions on things or whatever. It's all opinion based, but it's like you know, it's like you go up to a gravestone and you see a little tractor or something. You could just put it in your head. It's like, okay, this must mean something to this person. I got my own opinions on like religion and stuff like that and whatever, but it's like when it comes to something personal like that, like real, you know, that's just don't be touching that stuff. You know, it's bad juju. Yeah.
Well, see, and that's one of the things I've always found with ASTRORABBIT along the way is as much as there's an awesome quote out there. I may not agree with you, but I'll fight to the death for your right to say it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lot of what it comes to is more of just that open-mindedness and stuff. But since we're getting onto that subject more, for a lot of times there's a separation. When a band walks off, like there's times a lot of people will say they walk up on the stage because it's an outlet, and they become a different person. I've noticed that you guys do the makeup a lot, you know, for the show, so I'm just going to use that for an example. What are some of the differences? I'll let Tyler go first with this one, and then you can answer after. But once the makeup's thrown on, is there any differences, or is it the same person?
For me, it's more, it's a complete separation from what I do. I mean, most people know me as either somebody around town or a guy that hangs out at a bar, but when the makeup's on, it's a disassociation. Some people either don't recognize me or do, I don't know, but it helps me stay away from my regular day-to-day because it's not what I look like, which helps a lot when you're trying to go up on stage and act like a absolute idiot while trying to impress people.
That's pretty much what we do.
So would you call the mask a disguise then?
Very much, yeah.
Like the face paint kind of thing. It's a disguise.
It's kind of interesting because my thing with it is like kind of like the opposite of that. I feel like the way I do my paint, there's like some little things that I do with my makeup that show more of myself. I like to like kind of like wear my skin at like, you know, show shit on like. So I'm looking at myself and it's like I'm just showing all my dirty laundry, more or less. You know, putting out the dirty laundry, right? It just feels like I'm just being raw and open, and sometimes it can be scary to be like that open, especially with the lyrics I'm singing about. It's like I'm just letting it all out, you know?
It's interesting the way that you're wording that, because I saw this post, and it was saying that like it was a guy, it was more referring to that the skin is this face is the mask,
Yes.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's more where I was kind of hinting with you guys, just trying to see if if there is that separation and stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
we all kind of have a different take on where it gets us, you know, mentally and physically.
Okay, so when it comes to corpse paint design, what are some of what goes into your, like, how do you come up with what you want to do? Is it copying something, or is it all original what you're doing?
We want to be original with it. It's like the corpse paint is there's so many, like, there's only so much you can do to a degree, you know, like really keep the aura of corpse paint. But it's like, we all kind of just came up with our own thing. We started with war paint way back in the day when we started the band, and we just decided to put paint on our face, you know, and then getting into black metal, the lore of like corpse paint and all that stuff. It's like, me personally, I do have certain things I do on my face, just literally like say, whether it's some childhood stuff or like, you know, it's a lot to get into, I guess, but I just have reasons there's purpose behind what I do. And it's like, it just feels, I don't know, I think we've all kind of, there's something about being unique too, kind of creating a look. It's like, okay, you see that paint, you're like, okay, that's Foremother, that's Matt Foremother or something like that. Just, you know.
Anything you want to add there?
My shit's all random.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
I put no thought into it. I just put it on and that was it.
We're so opposite on the paint.
Yeah, I've never actually noticed that, but yeah.
Yeah, I never realized that, actually. Yeah.
When it comes to you guys, how much consistency is there with it? Is it like, do you find you stay the same, or do you find it's something that you're changing up all the time?
Yeah, like mine, like I say, there's some things I do every time. I'll change up the paint a bit, but it's like they always has like a commonality.
Yeah.
And this guy, yeah, I didn't even realize. You do change. Some days you'll just come down we'll jam, or we'll be drinking, jamming, and then you just totally different makeup. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Mine's whatever's easy that day.
Yeah, and if you mess up, you're just like, yeah, I remember there was one time you messed up and you like got a finger here or whatever, like a few fingers, and he ended up just redoing that. You did it on purpose because it's like, oh, it happened for a photo shoot, why not wear it on stage? Yeah.
So, I want to go back to this camera again. Just because I like changing cameras. See, check that out. This is new Astro Rabbit live feed, man. We're moving forward. Technology, man. Big shout out to my buddy Gen X Beats and stuff like that for giving me some hints and stuff like that with the new system. So, as you see, if this isn't your thing, man, Astro Rabbit Music, we got all kinds of different stuff there for you. But this is one of the first episodes of Astro Rabbit Voices, so I do have an audio-only one coming up for you guys soon. That was with Lois from Women in Song. So you'll want to be checking that one out after. But when you guys were talking there, just get back to our conversation again. Wearing makeup during the practice?
Yeah, it's kind of like when, like we know we got our music down and stuff like that, and we're just trying, sometimes getting into that headspace, like we're gonna play a show, just getting really that energy. It's like, and then we play the music. It's almost like seeing how it'll hit live, because it's like once we have the paint on, we have the whatever, all the stuff on, and we're in it. It's like we can get into that show mentality, and then if we play a song and we realize it's not really show ready, you know, that's when we'll know. And you know, that's sometimes we'll discover new things in the music as well. It's like I'll try something different vocally, and I'll be like, that's cool, we're gonna keep that. You know, really get into the, just send it, you know. Yeah.
Cool. And just kind of giving a shout out there, seeing some comments popping up there. Johnny's Jukebox Karaoke. Make sure you're checking that out, man. That's your best karaoke you can find in Sudbury, man. He's always giving the Astro Rabbit love.
Johnny.
Kyle Vine, how you doing, buddy? I know you sat in on one of our feeds before, man. I hope everything's all going good. Zachary Keegan saying hi. So as we're just sitting around here shooting the shit, kind of talking. So if you have a question that you want me to ask, just fire it off in the comments and stuff. We're just sitting here killing time on a Saturday afternoon, man. I'm trying to keep these two animals restrained enough. So little recommendation: if you ever do an interview with these boys, go to where they are. Don't bring them to where you are.
I'll taste you. Ugh. That's not that.
Okay. Yeah, so I got a little thrown off. I'm just kind of winging it anyways and stuff like that. So,
I stuck my finger in his mouth.
He liked it too.
I find the one thing that I find is there's been a big difference in the past one of the big things that I've seen, the whole changing and stuff like that. It's one of the there was I was rewatching Metal Headbangers Journey. If you haven't seen it, fucking do it. You know what I mean? But I believe when he was sitting there with the guys from Mayhem in the interview, and the whole like, fuck you don't like metal, fuck off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Who the fuck are you? Like, and I'm not knocking on the guy, because there was, if you watch the metal series, when he does the section on black metal, he does go back and talk to them. They do have a much more reasonable interview and stuff. But I find there's a lot of that I live alone in a black castle kind of thing. And then you guys see yourself, and then I see you guys, and there is that playfulness. So just going along with that, how do you guys feel about that?
I'd love to live in a black castle. Like that. There's still that.
I mean, I'd love that, but no, we are not very serious 90% of the time. We like to drink booze and we get depressed, but we like to drink booze and party and have fun.
Yeah.
But we make pretty dark fucking music, so we don't pretend to be evil or hate everybody. I do, and I'll tell you about it. But I'm kind of nice, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just getting us a little sidetracked here for a second here, but there's something that even Astro Rabbit, we were happy to work with the Four Mother thing, but there was another thing in the background. I think Tyler kind of sees where I'm hinting at with this here. Suicidal Purgatory.
Oh shit.
What
I don't want to talk about that.
What is that? What was that? Yes, you guys probably didn't think I'd bring it up,
I
but
don't think so, no.
That's all you, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so
you're being held liable, buddy.
contradicts everything I just said.
Yeah, 100%. Suicidal just contradicts everything you just said.
So, yeah, I'm kind of nice, I swear, but no, that is absolutely the most pissed off side of anything that I can possibly do.
Yeah.
There are no rules, no restrictions, and nothing to do with this band, with that. That is the hatred for the world.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so you may think that I'm blindsiding with something like that, right? But at the same point in time, the reason why I wanted to bring that up, it's because how important to Four Mother's success is having the outlet of something like Suicidal Purgatory.
With that, it was created because, well, people were bailing on band practices, so we started and...
I feel fucking attacked
hey.
right now. Yeah, this was a while ago when I there's a period of time I didn't show up that much, and they're like, okay, well, we want to play music, just make another band. So
yeah, so it helped too, and now it's not so much just a fuck you Matt kind of thing. It's a project that now Matt's getting involved in too, and we're using it to kind of experiment with the weirder side of things and the more angry side of things to see what we can throw into this band. It's more or less coming down now, maybe.
yeah, if something doesn't feel like it fits for Mother, and it's just, but it's cool, you know, we have a plot, we have a space to like fuck with it, and it's like we don't have a huge like a fan base or whatever, so it's like it's kind of like no harm no foul, we just go off. You know what I mean? It's like that's kind of what we
Okay, and just while I was mentioning other things, not necessarily like side projects of your own or stuff, but I see some people out there, and I definitely know that you guys aren't new faces in the Sudbury scene. So maybe if we say outside of the whole black metal field for a second, let's just talk Sudbury music.
Oh man.
Let other bands out there. I'm just gonna let you guys go and just talk Sudbury music scene with you guys for a little bit. What are some of the other bands? Like, I know you guys got your stuff going on, but from somebody who has your ear to the ground, you guys hear things with other people and stuff like that, right? So who do you think people should be watching for once these shows start opening up and stuff again in Sudbury? Who do you think people should be getting out there and seeing?
I mean, well, Chanel, Albert and Company, they've been
playing at the Colson
Yeah.
there, yeah. They're always playing, man. But they're always good every time.
And
Both of
then,
them, yeah.
yeah, Zach as well. He was playing at a farmhouse, like, what, 2 weeks ago, and he was recording an album or something like that. So, I mean, that's coming.
Stuff in the works. I think, well, I don't know if Worm Rain released or I think they got something in the works too. I know the Therapists were working on an album, Drug Wolf or something like that too. When I was like, a few months back when I was talking to a bunch of these guys like more often, it's like a lot of there's a few bands in Sudbury that are in the works of stuff and they're just like waiting for the right time to be like, oh, I'm back, you know, I'm still here, you know. So there's a lot of stuff lurking in the mist. Yeah.
So there we go, man. It definitely sounds like there's going to be some surprises once Sudbury starts opening up again and stuff. You did mention the Colson there. I just want to give a shout out to the Colson nightclub in Sudbury. They've been doing great lately for getting the whole live thing, for getting their old live music going. There's definitely been some changes that they've been making around the area and stuff like that to make things look different. And I've been seeing they're booking ASTRORABBIT, bands that have been associated with ASTRORABBIT. So I know Good Vibes has had some rounds there. So shout out to the Colson and keep booking ASTRORABBIT bands, man. We love when you do that. So we'll happily share anytime you guys do it. And a big shout out, man. Any places in town that are, if you're putting out music, then ASTRORABBIT's willing to work with you. That's basically the way it works, man. If you're willing to give some love to your local music and the independent scene, then ASTRORABBIT's definitely there for you guys.
Let Four Mother play the Colson. Let us play the Colson. We're there every weekend anyway. Pay me. No, we're down. Let me play.
Yeah, I was like, oh, where did Matt go? I'm just chilling with the surfers. You guys go ahead.
Okay, so just because we started talking about shows again, what are some of the favorite shows from the past? Give me some stories of the road from Four Mother.
Oh, man.
There's got to be some. Let's keep this going.
I got one.
Road stories time,
Well,
folks.
we always mention, like, the last show we played a show for our buddy Spider passed, like a memorial show, and that show is, like, it's a shame because, well, the reason the show had to happen, right? It's a shame, all that sort of stuff, but we really got into that show and kind of discovered some stuff about ourselves and the way we play and stuff like that, and of course, that being our last show, we had that kind of drive, you know, and then it just, because of COVID, right? But I don't know, that show was a lot of fun. I like that show personally because it was like, you know, you have different genres, all these different genres. Like we played next to rappers, indie artists, electronic, everything. It was just a whole. We're there because we loved Spider and we love music, and that's what it was about. You know, I like mixing and matching like that sometimes. So you could come up with some weird stuff. You have some people that come into a show that you know may not listen to our kind of music, but end up watching it and maybe enjoying it. You know.
Yeah, it definitely created a cool environment. Because I'll be honest, like I was watching Four Mother on the stage. With OB on one side of me and then talking to Dead Boy Crypt after, right? So if that doesn't say like the diversity that was in the show, that I definitely enjoyed showing up to and just because you mentioned that, the whole diversity in shows and stuff like that, I'm a firm believer that when you take somebody's spotlight, when you take somebody's like music collection and you go through. Okay, when I was a teenager and stuff like that, in my younger years, it's like Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, nothing but fucking metal, you know what I mean? You're not going to put that, well, okay, you snuck in Cypress Hill, maybe. But other than that, you know what I mean? You're not allowed to put nothing in my music collection. But I find now, everybody there, it's all over the place, right? And so when it comes to the blending genres of music and shows and stuff like that, how do you guys feel about that when you're in that environment where you're playing with somebody who is a different style of yours?
For me, I mean, I loved it back when we were not so much what we are now. I loved playing with all these other genres and all these other people and just being that one weird guy with the face paint.
Yeah, always stood out a bit.
Just standing out and doing their thing, but it's crucial because you get a bigger audience that way. You get more people, you get new people, you don't just get the same people.
A lot of diversity.
But now I don't think we could do it. When the album comes out, it's so far separated. I don't think we could play with rappers or with anybody else anymore.
It'd be too much of a big separation. So, well, it depends, I guess. It always depends.
Okay, so this just because you said that, I'm interested where the answer comes from this, because one of the questions I love asking people, it's if so many times a headliner will go around and they have somewhat of an input on who their openers are and stuff. Mm-hmm. If you guys could pick, who would be the ultimate band to like, who would you guys most want to open for? Who like?
I think we got the same answer in this.
Mankind, Psychonaut, Highlight, and Happy Days.
We have a show in our head that we're like our dream show, and it's like, okay, it's sitting there. It's like a goal to look at. It's like, okay, it's like I don't want to come to band practice. Just think about the show. It's like we could make that happen one day, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a few conversations with all of the bands actually. The Highlight's now playing their first show ever, and they've been a band for 12 years. Psychonaut might come to Canada, which should be interesting, and I'm going to try and swindle my way into that one.
Yeah.
And then our buddies in Indonesia that we've pretty much hung out with the entire time. I'd love to just have everybody there.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of bands that kind of sparked our side of black metal that were kind of doing like a DSBM sort of stuff. So like, yeah.
I think the whole band agrees on that one thing.
Yeah, we can't agree on anything else, but that's it, yeah.
Now, but at the same time, while you guys are saying that and stuff like that, like, I've noticed that I've definitely seen differences in personality between everybody in the band and stuff like that, but how important is it to you guys that I find, like, you guys embrace that, and, like, I see a lot of the picking on and stuff like that, but if there isn't, just from hanging out now, from the time I've spent with you guys, I've definitely seen you guys doing enough for playing off each other's. As an example, I see Nick can be a little bit shy sometimes when we're talking, but if Tyler's there, he's sort of like, he loves Tyler's. So how important is it to have, like, be around do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know, we all feed off each other. I mean, yeah, I help Nick be more social because he's a miserable fuck. And Matt helps me as much as I hate the fucking guy. He's very social, gets me out of my house, and I like to be out, just I don't go out. So we kind of have to help each other out, and I think as much as I fucking hate him, we do alright, and we help each other in different aspects.
Yeah, you're alright.
Oh, wow.
Look at me, actually, that's why there. That's something you can play back, man. Actually hearing these guys saying something nice about each other once in a while, man, that's gotta be something.
Don't ever do that again.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna get, man.
Ruining all the hype, all of a sudden everybody's gonna think they're a bunch of nice people now, right? So, we got somebody putting like for father on Facebook.
Oh, that's Josh, yeah.
And then we got Shane Talbert plays People Leave the Strip Club and listen to the music.
That's fair.
Damn right, I would too.
Yeah,
Well, I
they
think
do the opposite for us. Like, why would I want to look at these sweaty dudes on stage?
is there a dream place to play for you guys?
For me, Indonesia. Not a specific bar. I just want to go to Indonesia, party with Mankind, and play the bars there.
I've always like when getting into black metal more and more. It's like a big black metal festival I'd love to play would be like Wacken.
Oh,
you know, like that.
Talking about the holy ground.
I'm obviously like way up here, but sometimes you gotta think like that, right? It's like, oh, what if? That'd be fucking cool, wouldn't it? You know? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that would be the dream. I have very small dreams, is what I'm learning.
No, it's okay. They're attainable. Mine may not be so attainable. I can dream.
War for father? Well, yeah, that's them right for mother.
He's
just having a good time. There you go, man.
He's controlling those comments.
The Christian version.
Here you go, man. You can help us out with the comment first. Okay, so, joking around about the name and stuff like that. I'm gonna say it. What the fuck's this obsession with random generators for everything? Is it true that even the new album name came out of a random generator? I saw some kind of poster that you're doing, and what was the story behind that?
Yeah, so when we were thinking about the album title, we went with the tried and true. We went to a name generator. Now it helped a little bit spark it. I don't know if the name did the name actually pop up on the
No, it
generator?
didn't.
Yeah, so the name we ended up actually choosing, which I'll keep discreet right now. I don't know when we're announcing
No, you
things.
can say it. Probably.
Okay, well yeah, so the album name is called Cold Morning. Morning spelled like you're mourning the lost one.
It's a pun.
A nice little pun for you. But yeah, no, that one kind of came out of my head because I saw something on the name generator that kind of sparked that, and then just kind of like trickled, and then we got it. But it's fun to start with a name generator. To see some of the shit that it pops out at us too. It's like some of it's like, oh, that's not bad, and this one we had some that were just like.
I can't remember what it was. It was a giant sex robot or something like that. And like just the most ridiculous thing, but it helps because we suck at naming.
Well, it just jogs the memory a bit, or jogs the brain, gets us thinking. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember one of our previous talks when you were talking about the whole band name and stuff like that. That for a while it was funny to just keep making up the stories about where it was coming from and that. So, the whole playfulness in black metal. It's sort of, do you see where I'm going with that? So maybe just like, how does it fit with you guys? Like, have you guys ever ran into another black metal band that's kind of like, no, you guys shouldn't be like that? Or like...
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say who it is.
No, we don't need to drop names.
But we've been around a few, like, well, it's like, most musicians we play with are great. But yeah, sometimes there's that, like we were talking about earlier, like that black metal mentality. It's like we have to be dark all the time, stuff like that. And it's like, I could be dark as shit too. I'll say things off the cuff that's like, if a regular person hears me, they're like, the fuck, you know? But like, I don't think of it that way, but there's a lot of people that really play it up. It's not a bad thing. I mean, it could be a theatrical genre of music, right? So if you really want to like really sell it, I mean, it's just as long as it doesn't change as a person. Like I like after a show, it's like I love to just chat with you, not your stage person of you. It's like, why do you dig black metal? Like just have a cool chat, you know what I mean? Don't fake me out.
No. The fucking Kiss mentality.
Yeah, we're not kissing, we know it. It's fine.
See, and it's funny that you say that because I've always joked around with Tyler in the past about Kiss and that because like I hate to say it, but if I'm going through the history records, they were wearing corpse paint before anybody else was.
Yeah,
Are they the originators of corpse paint? And you're like, how does?
I watched the history line once. They were a part of, you know, I don't know, there's people through time, it's like it eventually became what it is. But I think they're in that timeline. You know.
But I think they definitely, like, where I kind of put Kiss kind of thing, right, is I'll always put Alice Cooper as one of the originators of the whole shock walk thing.
For sure.
And I find it, and really Kiss's message was more of, it was, we were talking before about bad publicity. And in my opinion, Kiss tried to make your career off of fake bad publicity kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, oh, our songs are so evil and everything else. Your kids shouldn't be allowed to listen to it. I was made for love. Just going back more to the whole face paint and stuff like that. Is there any history of where that stuff comes from that you know of? Like, how does that change from Gene Simmons spitting blood, blowing fire, singing "I was made for loving you" to black metal artists taking that look?
We could do a cover.
No, it's a very undocumented thing, but what I think, from what I understand and what I've looked into, is yeah, Kiss did it, and a bunch of other bands were doing it, and a bunch of Norwegian guys didn't like it. So they started to dress up like corpses, very messy, dirty paint, like just dirt and ash and whatever they could find. and it was to separate from the Kiss thing, but I don't know exactly if that's true or anything like that.
Probably a few different stories around. Hard to say.
No, it definitely makes sense because if you take a look at it, if you take a look in the past and stuff like that, when I see a lot of the older black metal bands, it does look like it's more of a rougher style, like taking something that's very cleaned up and using like the messy version of it and that, right? So, the whole like black and the spikes and all that kind of stuff. I've seen, there's times that I think like if you're going for gimmick, you got something going, but what's your guys' opinion when it comes to all the spikes and all that? Like, just talking more about the look and stuff like that, right? So,
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Well, that's it. It's like we kind of, this is the way we dress, like on a daily basis. So we're always wearing black, and it's like we find like leather and with chains, and we like all that shit too.
There's no fucking way I would wear that though. I couldn't sit there and scratch up my goddamn hip with a giant piece of spike.
It's more or less just not practical for us. It just gets in the way. I don't know. It's like we just kind of just clean it up and keep it more simple. It's easier just to move around on stage. Really, that's what it comes down to. Practicality. And it is expensive too. If we had more money, maybe we would dabble in some fancy shit. But we're broke as fuck, so.
okay, so just to change it up a little bit here, I remember when I was talking to you and Nick and stuff like that, I was almost surprised with some of the answers that came up with this question. And you weren't there for that one, so I'll let you answer first. When black metal isn't playing, what are you listening to?
Everything. I listen to a lot of different stuff. Like, man, yeah, no, like I have an ear for like if I dig the vibe of something, I'm into it. It doesn't matter what genre it is.
What are you listening to right now?
I'm listening to a lot of like Static X right now. I'm a big fan of like if I have another genre I really like, it's like industrial kind of metal, like or like your early like new metal kind of stuff, like 2000s new metal and stuff like that. So I've just been jamming that kind of a lot lately. Yeah.
Used to be in a band in Ottawa. We just like playing like background shows. We used to cover Push It.
Yeah,
But it's one of the them. I'll say it's fun to listen to.
Yeah,
but like it's kind of hard to get behind. If that makes that's
Sure.
kind of where I put that music. You know what I mean? It's nice background stuff, but but I find it's good to have that. You know, like I'm gonna put sorry crap, but it was hilarious, man. Going back,
I know where you did.
going back to the tribute show that you guys were playing when you guys were doing that. When you guys were on stage, like I said, I was standing there watching it with Dead Boy Crap, and he said, "Could you imagine eating breakfast listening to black metal kind of thing, right?" And
it's fair.
and that's really where it comes from to, and that's kind of what inspired me to kind of just wonder what else is what is it that gets you guys' attention. So I think I know where the answer is going with this one here, but Tyler, the influences outside of black metal for you?
Jack White, obviously.
Beyonce.
I am Beyonce. Fuck you.
There it is.
Yeah, Jack White. Jack White. I don't listen to much outside of black metal. I guess like influence-wise, no. Jack White and black metal.
We listen to a lot of like
some
rap stuff too.
Oh,
yeah. Like King.
Yeah, Yavid and King. That's a band from Michigan, King 810. It's heavily influenced a lot of the lyrics and a lot of how they flow in their songs.
Just the rawness of things for sure. Raw, real, out in your face.
Like a rap thing? Is it rap?
He does it all, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss. He just doesn't miss.
Alright, I'll flip back to this camera again for a second. So just as a reminder for you all here, if you want to get more, Music from the Pit, man. That's our metal page. ASTRORABBIT.ca/from the pit. We got a whole playlist there of some of the best metal music you guys can check out. So make sure you're checking that out. And if this isn't your thing, well, let's go to Ask Rabbit Music. Because as you're aware, Ask Rabbit Music now has our 5 different channels of music. We have our Ask Rabbit Rocks. That's our hard rock, rock and roll channel and stuff like that. You want to make sure you're checking that one out. Got some punk music, other things of the type. Ask Rabbit Groove is more of our experimental rock, that kind of stuff. Music that had to split up Ask Rabbit Rocks into 2 sections there. It was getting a little bit big, so that's kind of like the spin-off of it. Slightly different genres than that. Then we got your Time to Chill. That's our country music and easy listening. Your hangover music.
I had that problem today.
And then we got Dirty Beats, the Ask Rabbit hip hop channel. That's AskRabbit.ca/beats. And then, like I was saying, you could always check out the music from the pit. We got the most brutal metal music out there and independent music. And there's even one of our previous interviews. I took a trip up to the former Mother House. I don't know what the fuck they call the studio. But there was a chat that I was having with Tyler and Nick, the drummer. For some reason, my unfortunate ass gets stuck with Tyler in all these interviews. So
Sucks to be you.
he is in the other one. And you can also see the wrong video. That was a video produced by Ask Rabbit. The song coming off that album, it was unreleased, the song before that video. And then from what I heard, it got reworked and now it became an album song.
Yeah, so I think I can't remember if it was
That's
the
Perishing. That's the one that's posted.
yeah, because I think we played like when we played that one, the version that you did the video for. I'm pretty sure we did the lyrics with a different instrumental. So that one's either this or that. Because we wrote a couple of songs kind of in relatively like close proximity to each other, and for whatever reason they had a similar intro, so we would be playing the wrong ones all the time. And when we recorded that, just off the cuff, it was like, yeah. But the video is cool.
I love that video.
It's neat. It's like a weird track because it's so backwards in my brain listening to it. But you know, if you don't know, then it doesn't matter.
Okay, so that's another, that's one of the things that I have to say. One of the things that comes up in metal all the time, I don't know how many times I've heard these words. I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Yeah.
So, if you talk about a message and stuff like that in the music and stuff, I just
Yeah, I know. It kind of sounds like I'm contradicting myself.
I don't want to put you on the spot with something, but how would you explain something like that? That if people say the lyrics are hard to understand and that, then is there still meaning behind the lyrics?
Sometimes it depends on the song or the way I'm screaming it, but sometimes I take the cop out of like I'm hearing what I'm saying, and it makes the emotion of the entire piece feel what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? That's a cop-out way of saying it, but I'm trying to... My screaming style for a long time was very much like not much pronunciation, and I got shit on that sometimes. It's like, but I'm trying to like, you know, explore different styles of screaming to get a bit more of the text out. And that's the thing with metal. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know what's being said even. And, you know, as somebody listens to that kind of stuff on a regular basis, it's like if I don't know, like somebody, you're not gonna know.
Well,
but
yeah, see, I wasn't directing that to you guys, to your band in general and stuff. Because one of the reasons why I said that is because when I was younger, I loved Sepultura.
yeah,
I understand, Max. Like, and I find that there's a developed ear for it, and I guess. Tyler, you seem like the one that the more black that listens to with more of a background in black metal. Is it still screaming, or do you hear words?
Depending on the band, with the more primitive stuff, you can't hear it because the production quality. But with say the regular bands that I'd listen to all the time, Psychonaut Mayhem, yeah, I can pick it out as long as it's English.
right.
How much of that do you think the distortion of all that is intentional?
Oh,
Do you think there's any intent of disguising what's kind of going on in behind the screaming in the music?
And maybe it's like a lot of the screaming. It's like a lot of the time, it's like the sound your scream makes is kind of what you're looking for. It's like if you let out like your tone sounds really good, but like a few words get lost. Sometimes it's like, that's fucking sick. You know, it's like it's a weird thing. When I never thought about it like that.
Well, that's really going along with the theory. There's a lot of people who have the theory of vocals as an instrument, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of sometimes the words ain't really making sense to what's going on, but it's more. Kurt Cobain from Nirvana was huge on that. That it wasn't the meaning of the Jack White is another one that I find that there's some of the stuff that he does that it's more of the pronunciation and the sound of it and how it goes with the music is almost more important than what's being said. And that's really what I mean by that voice as an instrument mentality kind of thing. So, and you do find that does play into what you guys are doing, that the screaming is almost like that. It has to add to the music, right?
Yeah. There's some things I do vocally, like, well, I've always had like a howl thing that I like to do or whatever, and it's like when I do something like that in a song or whatever, it's like just to fit like the atmosphere. So used like very much as a tool in that sense more than, you know, more of an instrument that way, I guess. You know, having fun with it. You know, see what comes out.
So before a show, you guys are in the back room.
Yeah.
What does a warm-up session look like for Four Mother?
Slam a beer.
Slam a beer, don't talk to each other, and then I'll meet up 2 minutes before we go on stage.
Yeah, we all get. Sometimes we'll have like, you know, just get it. Whether we want to get ourselves pumped up or we want to calm down. It's like sometimes we want to do our own thing. Like they used to jam to like heavy hip hop before a show, and I would go and like meditate, and then we'd get on stage, and our energies would just be there. It would be, you know, we would just. I don't know. It's just like trying to. I don't know, sometimes the emotions are too much. I don't want to be too overwhelmed on stage, or sometimes I'm just not feeling anything. Let's get sad, you know?
Yeah, we don't really do anything. We don't even interact with each other.
No, pre-show we
You're
don't.
telling me a story about somebody taking a swing at you at the starting, was being angry enough about taking a swing just to take that energy out to the show and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, Matt's hit me a few times.
Yeah.
It's just this quiet little intense look,
I want to
man.
hit him right now.
I spit in his face and he punched me and like just gotten as close as I possibly could to him just to piss him off until he'd hit me, and then we'd go up and it was just ready to be there.
Yeah, just dumb stuff.
Okay, so just to change the tone a little bit, more where I was going with that question at first too, is sitting there screaming for that long. From somebody who, I would say there's definitely, you could say you have some experience and stuff like that, of doing some sets and the voice not dying out by the end of it, completely. Like, I guarantee there's probably some kind of fade by the
Pretty
end.
quiet after the show.
But, what recommendations would you give to other metal vocalists that you're going up, you're doing a show, how do you maintain that level for that long, like, without doing vocal damage?
At the very least, make sure you're doing it right. You know, that at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing. It's like you could get away without like warming up too much or whatever, this, that, whatever. It's like something you should do, and you should warm up, drink water, a lot of stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you really are doing it properly, then you can kind of have that longevity. And that's the thing. If you get to the point where you're doing it properly, you should already know. You know, but if you want to scream, take the steps to do it the right way. There's been periods in my screaming career or whatever where I've done things that weren't quite right, and you feel it right away. You know, you feel a lot in the throat or whatever. You want to make sure you're doing it right, because it's like if you want to do it for a long time, you don't want to throw your voice out, and all it takes is one show, and you get a little bit too confident. That's the thing too. I say don't give 100% with your screaming on stage. You don't have to. The mic does a lot of the work. Yeah.
And one of the big things, like with a lot of the other metal styles and stuff like that, that's more of the growl. I find that they say more like the stomach and chest is what's projecting that. But how does that portray into screaming? Do you get what I mean? Like screaming sounds like so much like one of the big things that people say is don't use the throat too much, use the stomach and the chest. But how do you scream without using your throat? Like the vocals are so high end.
Yeah, when you get really high, it's like you're not using that throat because you almost get in that head. You gotta get your head voice, you know, like get into the higher. It's a hard thing to explain when you kind of just been doing the same thing for a long time. It's kind of like I don't know how to tell somebody to do it because they kind of just do it, you know. But there's I don't know, if you really want to do it, there's like, you know, a lot of YouTube videos, even a lot of screamers on YouTube. They'll run you through what they did, the mistakes they made, the stuff like that. It's like I used to watch a bunch of that kind of stuff. It's like as long as you're watching the good ones. Yeah. You do.
Okay, now to bounce it back over to Tyler now. Somebody like me, I've actually, I can't say I've really been putting much out and shit like that, but there's guitars around my house. I've dabbled in shit. And one of the things that I've struggled with along the way, I find is so obsessive in black metal is speed. So just I'm going to aim this one at a time. We're talking to you about the newer person vocals. What would you suggest for a new person working on that picking speed? Because if there's one thing that I do notice with your guys' shit is when you guys get fast, it's fucking fast. So how do you get to that?
It's a gradual thing. I would say you would literally need to start with just the alternate picking, up, down, up, down, up, down, and you pretty much have to nail that before you go through. And you have to do this every day. Like if I don't practice for 2 weeks, yeah, I'm gonna not be as fast. You need to be on top of it all the time, starting slow when you first start playing, and gradually build yourself back up. So if you have a show or you have something else, you can go fast. But you need to build up, otherwise you're gonna hurt your wrist.
And see, that's one of the big things that both you guys have talked about and stuff like that. It's doing things properly to stay safe and stuff like that, right? So you can like play a show again a couple days later or something like that, right?
We want to
so
be doing this for a while.
Is there ever been a stretch where you guys have seen where there's like one show and the next one's coming up soon that you got to kind of like watch yourself in that level?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like October 31st, 29th, November 1st, and something like that. It was like 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah,
it was a week straight.
We used to play a lot of shows, like we'd play, like in a month we'd play like 3 or 4 shows sometimes, and it's like, yeah, it's as long as you're doing things properly, but it's mentally draining too, you know?
Yeah, we used to argue.
We're complaining about that, but like if we ever go on tour, we're gonna bitch the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
What's the furthest from home show?
It's Kingston further than London.
I don't know.
I know.
We've only played 2 out-of-town shows, and 1 in Kingston, 1 in London.
Yeah, so it's pretty much one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kingston's further.
I think so. I don't know. My brain, I'm brain dead right now. I don't know.
Yeah, we were supposed to actually go to Alberta before COVID.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of things we were supposed to do, but you know, it is what it is.
Okay, so with you guys with the ears to the ground and stuff like that on things, as far as it goes for like shows and stuff like that, what are you guys looking at as the future? Does it look like everything's still far off? Does it look like there's possibilities of things happening?
I'm starting to talk to some people, kind of see what kind of stuff I can, like, see who's kind of interested in doing stuff, and I have a venue that might be interested in getting some live shows and stuff like that going. So it's like I'm kind of just keeping it low key right now, but I'm just hitting up my musician friends and be like, would you be down for something like this? And a lot of them, it's a resounding yes. You know, a lot of musicians really want to be playing again, you know, and it's just a matter of just talking.
Well,
get the word.
Well, if there's one thing I've noticed from all this is there's definitely, like, before all this, I'm saying this from the promoter perspective. It was a little bit more challenging to convince bands and stuff like that. And I have to say, it's once again like I'm not gonna say the pandemic's a good thing. I'm just doing silver linings, so don't come fucking dumping on me. I'm not like, hey, COVID created an awesome ASTRORABBIT because it fucking killed everything. I'd still love to be DJing and shit. I'm just looking for a silver lining here. And one of the things that I really find is that more eagerness and stuff like that. And I'm really hoping that the audience is the same.
Yeah.
There's, you guys definitely had to have seen it in the past where it's like, hey, you guys coming out to the show and stuff like that. So I'm kind of hoping that when all this opens up again, that the people are more hungry and stuff like that. You guys find that there's a lot of like energy from the bands and stuff like that. From the feedback that you guys see, are the people waiting too, or is it just the bands that are eager to get out there? You get people asking you about like when shows are coming and stuff?
I mean, yeah, I run most of the social media. It's pretty much every couple weeks or whatever, we'll get a message that says like, hey, when's the next show? When's this? Can you come out to Alberta? Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And it's like, no, we can't right now. Like, we're doing this, we're doing that. People seem excited, although I'm skeptical about it because we haven't played. We've had people at our house even just to come for rehearsals because they just want to hear a metal band play, and there's nothing going on right now.
Yeah.
See, and the reason why I'm bringing this up here is because it's a simple little point that I wanted to make as part of this interview process. One of the things the whole pandemic has shown to us is what could happen if people don't go out to shows. The first time all of this is getting fucked up is the pandemic's fault. We can still use that excuse. It's still going. There's still issues that we're facing in the world that are still preventing bands from opening up and doing their thing. But once things open up, it's back in your hands again. It's back in the hands of everybody out there to get out there and show the support. Because if things don't, once everything opens up, this isn't, I can't say 100% fact to this stuff. This is just my own belief. If everything opens back up again, and all of a sudden shows start, and there's a huge swarm of people going to see the live music, this could be the rebirth that live music needs right now. Of people going, holy fuck, all these bands are so eager, and everybody's so eager. So my big message is just, please, when all this does open up, get the fuck out there and go. Because if we wait forever for bands to get on stage, and then one of these establishments is like, hey, we're going to take a shot at live music tonight, and nobody shows up, then you won't see it. So the big thing right now is part of the lack of shows is in the pandemic's hands. But once it opens back up, it comes back down to you guys. And it's a really strong belief that I have with ASTRORABBIT that this could be the reawakening of the live entertainment scene. That once it does open up again, we show it how much we missed it, how much we wanted it, and we give it all the love that it truly deserves, and we watch it grow into something special. So that's kind of me. I'm kind of using that closer to the wrap up again. Going to shove the camera in these guys' faces again. Let them wrap some stuff up too with what they got to say. And I thank everybody for checking this out. Make sure you're going to AskRabbit.ca/4mother and checking these guys out. Make sure you're marking February 30th on your calendars, so then you'll be the first ones to get your hands on that album. It's going to be out there and you're going to want it. So even if you're not into the music, check it out anyways, because like I was saying, you could discover something new. It could be, look at Matt's story earlier on, saying that he was sitting there and not listening to black metal. Then Tyler shows him some black metal, and I was the vocalist for a black metal band. So maybe there's somebody else out there waiting to release their inner black metal artist. So maybe checking out that 4mother album could be your gateway. So.
Gateway drug. What's up?
Still, AskRabbit does gateway drug thing, because AskRabbitGate.ca is your gateway to awesome. Go to a band, go to a band's page, hit learn more, and then you get it more. See, that's why I joke around about the ASTRORABBIT gateway. We're just here for a taste. Anything that happens after, I'm not holding any liability for what these guys say.
It's for the best, yeah.
I'm just letting them put out their message. So, and this is what the message is.
Yeah.
Am I gonna take over?
Yeah, you could go.
Alright,
go
fine.
ahead. Why not?
Okay, so yeah, we have a new album coming out February 30th. It's called Cold Morning. It's our first full-length album. Buy it, show the support, come out to shows. I hate promoting and I want to kill myself.
We are for mother.
And on that grateful cheerfulness, man, if you're not catching this live and you're just finding it after, doesn't mean you still can't share it then anyways, man. So get the word out, spread it, and in total contradictory of everything these guys are saying, shit stuff out there, man. Be cool to each other. Do something nice with somebody, man. Spread that ASTRORABBIT love. You guys all have a great day, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Peace.
Oh no, I don't want to do that. Cancel because I want to give it a second to catch up first. Cancel. Maybe it will just end, whatever. Let's just go here. We're still kicking around. Music from the pit, check it out. See how far behind the live is.
Fuck me. I need a beer.
That went longer than I thought.
It did, yeah.
I feel like we were talking for a while. I don't know how long.
Well, there was like a good hour on that stream, man.
Nice.
Yeah.